5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I have an interview right now that I'm curious about two things about our next guest. I'm just curious about him as a writer. And of course, I'm curious about his writing. So we're going to talk about the writer and the writing. That's what makes my job fun. My job is fun because I get to do that. Robert Gallant is on the phone. It says here he is an active retiree. That's something to have on your business card. He's an advocate for healthy living. He's a traveler. His book is called Rob the Vatican. It is a thriller novel. Robert Gallant, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Larry. It's enjoyable to talk to you. I appreciate the opportunity. You're on my old stomping grounds. I went to University of Florida.
Oh, is that right? Oh, wow.
Yes.
So where are you? Where are you now?
I'm in Michigan.
Oh, in Michigan. Okay.
Yes. So I had a varied career. Lived in Louisiana and Texas and Michigan. But I'm settled now in Michigan.
Yeah, you still have the Southern accent.
Yes, I do. I worked very hard to preserve it because I thought it was a good trademark.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you for being on the air with us today. Robbing the Vatican is an interesting thought. It's almost like sinning against God, isn't it?
It is. All my life, I had wanted to write novels, but I had a very good 40-year career in technology and business. After I retired, I decided I'm now going to satisfy my love of writing. And I asked myself, what would be the most amazing robbery in history? Thought through about a dozen things, and then I said, the Vatican. The Vatican is the world's greatest treasure trove. The Vatican is Europe's most famous locale. And because it's an armed, walled fortress, it is absolutely impossible to rob. And I thought, wow, what a challenge. So
I wonder what kind of things are in there. Don't they keep a lot of their possessions secret?
Yes, I spent 5 years researching the Vatican, books and articles and talking to people, and I found out a world of things about the Vatican. For instance, their safe is buried underground in the center of the Vatican because they wanted to protect it in case of a nuclear war. They didn't want to have their most critical things destroyed.
What's in it? Do we know what's in the safe?
Yes, we do now. Interesting enough, they have large amounts of currencies of all different nations because they have this available so they can pass it out to people who are heading out on trips. They have large amounts of gold because back in the late 20s, when the Mussolini made a deal with the Catholic Church to say, hey, we're going to return some of the properties and things that previous governments stole from you.
Right.
Because he wanted to be buddies with the Catholic Church and have them support him. He took a significant amount of that money and they bought U.S. gold bullion. And they stored it in their safe. Then they also stored large amounts of like jewelry, uncut diamonds, crowns that they had taken away from kings elsewhere, and so forth. So it's loaded with stuff. Then, of course, they have their museums spread all over the Vatican, and in those museums they have things like coin collections. They have beautiful pottery. They have fabulous paintings from all over various places, and a lot of saleable things, jewelry, and like that.
So some of the things in the safe were actually stolen?
Well, you could say they were confiscated by the church back many, many years ago.
Wow.
So, yeah, you can say some of it. A lot of it were gifts from kings, other places, and so forth. So it was really fascinating to dig through and find, wow. Well,
all right. So you did all that research, and in a way, you discovered what was in the safe. You discovered what else was in the possession of the Vatican. So that then, did you start writing the book before the research or during the research?
I had kind of come up with a plot, and then I had a plot for it. And then I spent years researching it. And I was doing some other writing during that time, too. But I was determined, unless I could find a legitimate, correct way to actually rob the Vatican, I couldn't write the book.
Oh, my goodness.
And the real challenge is, well, there's only a few gates that you can come in and out of the Vatican. So how are you going to carry gold bullion and jewelry and so forth through guarded gates?
Oh, the Vatican has armed guards?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It has two main groups. It has the gendarmes, which are an Italian-based group, and they're the ones that guard the Vatican itself. And then they also have the Swedish troops who have been the guardians of the Pope for like ever since like the 1400s.
Oh my goodness!
And they did that job unbelievably well, and in some cases they got all killed protecting the Pope.
So
when like the Germans invaded back in the 1400s. So
have you been to the Vatican?
Yes, and it's very interesting because I'd already done a lot of research, and then I went through the Vatican, and of course the Swiss Guards are the very stylish group that guard the Pope himself.
Right.
But no one should themselves. These Swiss Guards are trained to fight and kill whatever is necessary to protect things. They're not. They may look dressy in their dressing up, but they are prepared for warfare.
Huh. Wow.
And they're all Swiss. They come from Switzerland, and they served there for a number of years.
Now, when you went to the Vatican, did they know that you wrote a book called "Rob the Vatican"?
Careful not to tell them. But it is kind of ironic in that they have a bookstore there in the Vatican that contains huge amounts of books about the Vatican. And one of the one that I was particularly interested in and bought was they had a video showing you here's where all the important treasures are.
Oh, wow.
Museums. So I said, "Oh, that's handy."
So yeah, they give you the information that a robber would need.
You're right. So it was kind of an intriguing experience. I would say by the time I got through, I knew more about the Vatican and its security systems and its vulnerabilities than the people that were guarding the Vatican.
Oh, my goodness. Robert, we have to take a little break, but when we come back, I want you to give us like a movie trailer version of the story in Rob the Vatican, and I'm just dying to find out how you find the time to write. It sounds like you're a really busy guy. So we'll take a little break and be right back with Robert Gallant. The book again is called Rob the Vatican, a suspenseful thriller novel. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. This Monday will feature more clouds and sun. There can be a shower at the coast, the high 77 to 81. For Monday night, partly cloudy skies, lows ranging from 57 well inland to about 65 on the coast. For Tuesday, clouds and a limited sun and breezy with a shower or thunderstorm in parts of the area, high 78 to 82. Wednesday, mostly cloudy and windy with a couple of showers and thunderstorms, high 79 to 83. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
check this out.
New shows? Check. Check. Some new talent? Check. The same great sports talk?
I'm seeing it right now.
Wrong.
Wrong again? Wrong.
It's better.
There are so many great things going on in sports.
We gotta get it. From our mics
Test.
to your ears.
The latest update we got is...
At Ameris Bank, we understand that there is no purchase more exciting than the purchase of a new home. We are dedicated to helping you find the mortgage that meets your needs and giving you the personal attention you deserve. Our mortgage options offer a variety of benefits, including up to 100% financing, down payment assistance, and expansive credit qualifications, all with the competitive rates and exceptional service. Call Ameris Bank today or visit amerisbank.com to learn more. We look forward to serving you.
Ameris Bank is an equal housing lender and member of FDIC, a loan subject to credit approval.
So have you heard the story of the Johnston twins? Two boys separated at birth fated to meet again, not knowing they were twins. The unforgettable musical Blood Brothers ran for over 20 years on the London stage, and now you can see it at Ocala Civic Theater February 11th through March 6th. Call 352-236-2274 or buy online at ocalacivictheater.com.
Beautiful Moments Party Rental presents the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo 2016 on March 3rd. This event has caterers, photographers, florists, musicians, plus food, fun, and more. Brides, bring your bridesmaids and friends alike. 100% of the ticket sales goes to the Inflammatory Breast Cancer Network Foundation, and they're only $15 each. So mark your calendars for March 3rd from 5 to 8:30 p.m. For the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo at Beautiful Moments Party Rentals, 3400 Southwest 60th Avenue. Questions, call 307-8180. That's 307-8180.
WWOCA,
WOCA.
AM 1370.
96.3. 96.3 FM.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
All right, 18 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Beautiful Monday. Got some weather coming our way in a couple of days, but enjoy today. It's the last, tomorrow should be the last day of a big string of days we've been having beautiful weather lately. Robert Gallant is on the phone up in Michigan. He's from Florida. You did the exact opposite, Robert. You most of the retirees here moved from Michigan or somewhere up there and moved down here. You did the exact opposite. You went from here to there.
You're right. After I graduated from the University of Florida, I went to work with a company and in Louisiana and then in Texas, and their headquarters was here in Michigan, and so I ended up here in Michigan, which it's kind of, you tolerate the coldest part of the winters here, and you tolerate the hottest part of the summers. And
that's right.
In Gainesville.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's a small town, small city, and I really enjoy it because it gives me an opportunity to do a lot of things here.
Robert, tell me this: are you a late bloomer when it comes to writing books? Did you start writing books late, or have you always written books?
I always wanted to write books. When I was growing up on the farm in Ohio, I used to make up adventure stories, and I told myself, someday I am going to write books. But I was very good at math and science, so I went into chemical engineering from University of Florida. I spent a career doing that, but during my 40-year career, I published over 50 articles in scientific journals.
Oh, wow.
I published 3 books on technology and 1 book on how to be a successful manager. So my love of writing has always been, and after I retired, I said, now I will have the time to actually write novels. And it's important to do that when you retire. If you just sit around saying, gee, I'm completely relaxed now, I don't have to set an alarm clock, but I got nothing to do. So my philosophy was, you have to go do things that put you out of your comfort zone and force you to learn a lot of new things.
Very true.
And writing fiction was a perfect way to do it. It's interesting in that my wife was a big reader of women's mystery novels.
Right.
So I kind of drew on her, too, and saying, hey, would you read this first pass that I'm doing on it?
Right.
And she gave me two very important critiques. She said, one, if a woman is going to be a significant person in your story, do not make her dependent upon some manly hero.
There you go. I like that advice, yeah.
Yeah, she must be able to contribute to the success of the story on her own. So I tore up the copy I'd done and started over. I mean, it was great advice. As I did that, the whole story just dramatically improved. And then she told me, she said, an artist paints pictures with a brush. A writer paints pictures with words.
Another good piece of advice.
Yes, your reader should be able to visualize the scene, the people, and their emotions.
Oh, good advice.
And again, I was kind of all right, let's get on with the action. And when I slowed it down and did that, I said, wow, that changes the whole mood of the story. It's beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of writers really don't get that one simple thing right with pictures. A lot of people will write, I don't know, like I love you or something like that, and instead of making it more about the visual, what you can see visually when you hear the words.
Right. So my intent was every book I write, I want it to not only be a credible, suspenseful thriller, I also want it to give the reader a unique insight into the geography, the culture, the issues, and the technology. So when they put the book down, they say, gee, I learned some things I never knew.
We're going to learn about the Vatican in this book, too, right?
You're right. In fact, I have this concern that one day there's going to be a knock on my door. I open it, and there's a policeman standing there, and he says, Mr. Gallant, a guy just robbed the Vatican, and he said you told him how to do it.
Oh, no. Let's hope that doesn't happen. All right, so let's make sure that we don't give away the story, but at the same time, give like a movie trailer version. Tell us about the book, the story in Rob the Vatican.
Yeah. Interestingly, as I originally conceived it, the most important character was going to be a young priest who discovers a conspiracy in the Vatican. But as I started doing it, I said, this story is really about how do you rob the Vatican. So I had to make the robber, the jewel thief, I had to make him the main character. So I said, I'm making the bad guy the main character.
Yeah, right.
I gotta not make him evil. He should not want to shoot people and kill people. He's just a brilliant jewel thief, but he's not a bad person in the sense of hey, you get in my way, I'm gonna kill you. One, and then I took advantage of what my wife told me. The second most important person became a young Italian gymnast, and she and the priest had been friends all their life. And the priest was at the Vatican and discovered, what's going on here? This plunges he and the gymnast into a whirlpool of danger and desperation. Earlier, the first encounter between the jewel thief and the gymnast had been when she discovered he had hidden his car in her family's barn, and he took her hostage, and he takes her hostage, and out of it they built a little bit of a relationship because she said, why have you chosen not to kill me? And he said, I don't kill people. I steal jewelry.
No.
And so, he let her, rather than killing her, which he should have done because she was going to be able to identify everything about him, he ran that risk.
Yeah.
And so the next time they met, it led to him becoming involved with this conspiracy problem that she and her and the priest were involved in. And he said, "Let me help you." Now, you're kind of nervous that he has other friends too. But this becomes a key part of the story. The gymnast and the jewel thief were crisscross paths for a while, some of the time as antagonists, some of the time as allies. And as the story progresses, there are some major decisions that are going to have to be made. One, for the priest, is how much, to do the right thing, how much are you willing to sacrifice?
Wow.
And
go ahead, I'm sorry.
And for her, it was, as it progressed, should you do something that is wrong in order to prevent a greater wrong? And for the jewel thief, it becomes, if it ultimately comes to it, will I sacrifice her in order to walk off with all that treasure?
My goodness, we have to read the book to find out if he pulls it off. Yeah, Robert, thank you for being on the air with us today. We almost out of time. I want to be sure to give the listeners a way to get the book. First of all, let me say that Robert was kind enough to send us a copy of the book. And if you would like the copy that was sent to us, call me right now. I'll put your name on it. It'll be waiting for you. It's called Rob the Vatican. And Robert Gallant is the author if you're looking it up. Robert, how do we buy the book?
Amazon.com on the internet.
Okay.
And Barnes & Noble, you can go and they will order it in for you.
My goodness. So you've dedicated your time now to being a novelist, and do you have another one in the works?
I have 4 others in the works.
Wow!
Which is a series of starring the 2 main characters in a series of 4 novels, and those I think are going to be very popular. On Rob the Vatican, I met in New York with some film producers.
Oh wow!
Trying to convince them to make a movie out of Rob the Vatican. 2 of them said, they were going to think about it, and they took copies of the book. It may be a year before I hear from them, but since I'm 81 years old, I'm patient.
Well, good for you. You're an inspiration to all of us, and I understand that your wife passed away. Is that right?
Yes, she did, and that slowed me down on my writing, because when she developed very serious health problems, I quit writing. For about 8 years, what I had done just sat dormant, and after she passed away in 2013, then I came back and re-entered it, and this is why now I'm in the, here's the books. I want to people, hey, these are really good books.
Robert, thank you for being on the air with us today. If you're ever back in Florida, we'd love to have you in the studio. When you have your next book, definitely come back on and talk to us about the next book, okay?
Great. Thank you very much, Larry. I appreciate the time.
Oh, you're welcome. Rob the Vatican is the title of the book. Robert Gallant, Gallant is the spelling of Robert's last name. And go on Amazon, go to any bookstore. I'm sure they can all order it. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. No downtime for the GOP presidential candidates after Saturday's South Carolina primary, with the Nevada caucuses tomorrow.
The one recent poll had Donald Trump with a healthy lead, and no surprise, he sounds confident.
There's nobody more conservative than me on the border. There's nobody more conservative than me with Obamacare.
Trump will be doing an event in Elko, Nevada this afternoon, and then a big event here in Las Vegas this evening.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. For Democrats, it's the South Carolina primary Saturday. The investigation continues into the weekend shooting spree in Kalamazoo, Michigan that left 6 dead. Suspect Jason Dalton was a driver for Uber, and this man rode with him before he was caught.
I half-heartedly joked at him and said, "You're not the shooter, are you?" And he said no, and I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "No, I'm just really tired."
The motive for the shooting still unknown. Stocks sharply higher, the Dow up about 200 points. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Any Napa guy knows, and science proves, the best minivan is the one you've already got. Part kid transporter, part drywall mover. Who cares if the faux wood grain is a little faded? That was a platinum package option in 1987. With over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. Because it's not old, it's vintage. That's Napa know-how.
I moved to Boston when I was 2. There was 14 of us in a 4-bedroom apartment in the projects in Boston. To be the first, kid to buy a house in my family. I just realized that. I'm the first kid to buy a house. It's a very proud moment.
Home means something different to everyone. With millions of homes for sale or rent on Zillow, whatever home means to you, Zillow can help you find it.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Here are today's headlines from The Source, WOCA. An Ocala man was killed Saturday morning in a single-vehicle crash. The crash happened at 6:15 a.m. on Southwest 140th Avenue, near the intersection with Southwest 71st Lane. The Florida Highway Patrol says 24-year-old Joseph Deaton was driving a 1989 Toyota Tacoma south on Southwest 140th Avenue when he veered right onto the grass shoulder, then veered left. The truck spun across the north and southbound lanes of Southwest 140th Avenue, then traveled onto the east grass shoulder where it overturned. The truck hit several trees, ejecting Deaton and a passenger identified as 24-year-old Angel Ward of Ocala. Deaton died from his injuries at the scene of the crash. Ward was taken to Ocala Regional Medical Center with minor injuries. Troopers have not released any further information. A Lake County high school teacher was arrested accused of having sex with a student. 41-year-old Marshall Jungrease is charged with unlawful sexual activity with a minor. Lake County deputies say a 17-year-old student reported that Jungrease contacted her on an adult website in 2015. According to investigators, the victim was a former student of Jungrease. One night in November, Jungrease picked up the student and drove her to East Ridge High School, where he works, according to the report. The victim told investigators that Jungrease took her to one of the portable classrooms and the two of them had sex. Deputies interviewed Jungrease, who admitted to spending time with the student but denied any sexual activity. Jungrease was arrested at his home in Groveland and taken to the Lake County Detention Center with no bond. Jeb Bush is out of the race for the White House after a fourth-place finish in Saturday's Republican presidential primary in South Carolina. Bush remarked that the people have spoken and he's suspending his campaign. The former Florida governor remarked that he hopes that the platforms he advocated will be a blueprint for a conservative movement in the upcoming election. Bush congratulated the remaining candidates without referring to them by name. He said he remains optimistic that America's best days are ahead, and he'll continue to work towards that goal as a private citizen. Florida Senator Marco Rubio says the race for the Republican presidential nomination is now a three-person race, and he's going to win it. Rubio made the comment in a speech to supporters after finishing neck and neck with Ted Cruz and about 10 percentage points behind Donald Trump in South Carolina's Republican primary. Rubio remarked that South Carolina voters have made it clear that the nation is ready for a new generation of conservatives. He emphasized that conservatives will fight for struggling families and young people facing an uncertain future. Rubio stressed that limited government, free enterprise, and strong defense is the key to revitalizing the country. The senator also made a few comments about former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, who dropped out of the race after a distant fourth place in South Carolina. Rubio said he has admiration and affection for the Bush family. He added that Jeb Bush has a lot to be proud of and is an extraordinary father, husband, and governor. Rubio said he praised that Bush's service to his country has not ended. And with a Hail Mary move, Danny Hamlin ended Joe Gibbs' 23-year drought at the Daytona 500. Gibbs made it clear that he had no use for the victories his drivers collected in the exhibition races leading into yesterday's season opener. The three-time Super Bowl winning coach was focused only on the Great American Race, and his four drivers brainstormed on the best way to get the win. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. This Monday will feature more clouds and sun. There can be a shower at the coast, the high 77 to 81. For Monday night, partly cloudy skies, lows ranging from 57 well inland to about 65 on the coast. For Tuesday, clouds and limited sun and breezy with a shower or thunderstorm in parts of the area, high 78 to 82. Wednesday, mostly cloudy and windy with a couple of showers and thunderstorms, high 79 to 83. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Come out to the third annual Habitat Strawberry Festival on March 5th, 2016 at the McPherson Government Complex. The goal of this festival is not only to have vendors, food, a car show, a kids zone, live entertainment featuring the Dane Myers Band, a beauty pageant, and all things strawberry, but also raise funds to build a Habitat home for a family in our community. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is open 9 to 5 on Saturday, March 5th, with breakfast served at 7:30. Free parking, free admission. Beautiful Moments Party Rental presents the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo 2016 on March 3rd. This event has caterers, photographers, florists, musicians, plus food, fun, and more. Brides bring your bridesmaids and friends alike. 100% of the ticket sales goes to the Inflammatory Breast Cancer Network Foundation, and they're only $15 each. So mark your calendars for March 3rd from 5 to 8:30 p.m. for the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo at Beautiful Moments Party Rentals, 3400 Southwest 60th Avenue. Questions, call 307-8180. That's 307-8180.
Today in Florida Ag News, I'm a Southeast AgNet. Well, many in agriculture continue to watch Florida legislators work concerning the budget for this upcoming year, but Florida budget negotiators will not start formal talks until early this week. Though leaders are making forward progress, at least according to a memo that came out last Thursday from House Speaker Steve Crisafulli. In a story from the News Service of Florida, Crisafulli notified House